Hi, I'm Bry Cox, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com. I am doing a video version of the Ask Me Anything for PPA on The Loop, which is the social network for photographers. They asked me to do an Ask Me Anything because I'm going to be speaking at ImagingUSA. It's kind of a chance for people to get to know me. And so I've got a number of questions here, and I'm just going to go through them and well, answer them by video. So, okay, the first question is by Shauna. And Shauna is from Arkansas, and she says, "Hello, Bry. Thanks for answering questions in The Loop. In looking over your background and work, I became curious about your wedding album process, so that's where I'll focus my questions. How long have you been custom designing albums? Or perhaps it's better to include asking if you've always previewed the whole time you've photographed weddings, or was that something you added later?" And then she goes on. So I'm going to answer this first part right now. So I've always provided albums for my clients for weddings, partly because I've been doing this for a very long time. I did my first wedding professionally 23 years ago, so it's a very long time. Film days, right? In the film days, everybody expected an album. Something changed in digital. People didn't expect albums because a lot of people thought, well, why? One, I don't want to do albums. I don't know how to do albums. It's complicated. Suppliers laying it out. Not to mention the resolution isn't always the best for a lot of photographers who aren't lighting or doing things right. So what they do is give people a disc. So I have separated myself by just continually selling albums. I'm doing basically the opposite of what a big majority of photographers are doing. I'm offering albums, and that's a huge advantage, I think, to my clients, and it makes me different. And I think they're just, I think it is way better to shoot a wedding and then actually present them with something physical that they can keep for their whole lives. Okay, so anyway, yeah, the answer is I've always included albums. If anything, when I got to digital, my albums just got a lot better because I could do even more elaborate, even better albums. How much time do you generally spend designing an album from start to finish, ready to print on average or in range generally? So it takes a while to design an album right. I'll see at conventions and demos where people say, look, I designed this whole album in 10 minutes using this software that just auto-designed it. Yeah, you can auto-design things fast. The real trick is laying it out. Just, one, retouching the images before they're in the album and then designing the album. So what I do is I actually retouch as I design. I retouch the image and I start designing, and my system is I don't ask the clients for all of their favorites. I just design the album the way it should be, the way I see it, I have won a lot of national awards off of this, and so I just say, you know what, I have a vision, let me show you my vision, and I just design the album. And I show it to them. If they want to make some changes, we can make some changes at that point, but nobody ever does because it looks so dang good. So one, that eliminates some time, which is trying to either design in front of a client or get their ideas on design. I just design it because I'm the artist, and this is what I'm dang good at. And then the second thing is I'll design it, and then I just won't look at it for a few days, and I'll come back and I'll look at it, and I'll go through every page, and I'll go, you know what, there's some changes that need to be made. It's kind of like writing a report in college. If you remember back in college, sometimes if you just stayed up all night and just ran through a report, you thought it was awesome, and then a week later you get it back from the teacher and you got kind of a poor grade, and you read it like, oh yeah, it wasn't that good. What's the difference? The difference is that critical distance from the time you read it or wrote it to the time you read it is sometimes a week, and you're like, oh yeah, it's not as good. So you have to trick your mind and give yourself a little bit of time to design. So I'll design pretty quickly, and a lot of my images don't have either any retouching or very minimal retouching. But I'm doing some retouching, I'm laying it out, I'm designing it, and I design 2-page spreads at a time, and I just keep going through it. And then I'll come back a few days later and I go through all of those, and then I go, oh, I need to change this, I need to do that. And I do that a couple times until I love it. And when I love it, and I love every page, that's when I go and I show my client. Do you use one company for all your needs, including weddings? Do you have multiple sources for your needs? So I have a couple companies. A lot of my baby books, family books, all of that kind of stuff, I use White House. For all of my weddings, I use Graphy Studio. So I use them because I do like a briefcase, and it's kind of a special product that's just a little bit different. So those are my two. So that one's done in Italy. Everything else is with White House. All right, I got some more questions here. So we'll take a quick break. I'll come back in the next video, and we'll go to the next question. If you have any questions for For me, in general, I mean, I do a weekly Q&A. I also have a whole website, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com, and I'll see you at ImagingUSA. All right, until next time, America.